All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you guys for our Mobil 1301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at our running order. Joey Logano is going to lead them off. Ryan Blaney second. Josh Berry, after 3 in a row, last place finishes, starting third. Tyler Reddick fourth. Fifth, William Byron. Sixth, Carson Hocevar. Seventh, Alex Bowman. Eighth, Ross Chastain. Ninth, Denny Hamlin. 10th, Shane Van Gisbergen. So really good starting position for SVG. Then for our next playoff driver, we have Bubba Wallace in 14th. 16th, Kyle Larson. 18th, Chase Briscoe. 19th, Christopher Bell. So after missing the playoffs, Alex Bowman qualified P7. Shame they decided to pick it up after they got eliminated. See Ryan Priest fan, good to see you, man. I saw you live, I think just a little bit ago, and Melissa Fletcher said go Denny Hamlin. We have a lot of Denny Hamlin fans that are in this community and in this chat often, so that's crazy. And like, I would never have guessed that. I have a buddy that's a Denny Hamlin fan, but other than that, I don't meet a ton of them. We'll see how this goes. This is round one, or not round one. This is race one of round 2 of the playoffs. So the points have reset. A few other notables. Kyle Busch starting in 24th. Ty Gibbs, good qualifying effort for him in 13th. You expect better out of a Gibbs car. You really do. But he had a really good week last week at Bristol. He should have won the race. But, you know, he had a hard time getting on pit road, and it just cost him the race. We're going to keep an eye on the points battle throughout the race. I also have the Colts-Titans game on, so pretty good so far. All right, where's Chase? Yeah, Chase starting in 27th. Good heavens. I think we already said that, but they're just showing him on TV. That's a long way to move. New Hampshire, a flat track. There are several different grooves you can use. The track, I think, has variable banking, 2 degrees to 7 degrees. So hopefully the track develops and widens out, and we can actually see some passing. All right, coming to green flag. For 301 laps at New Hampshire. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's get DW.
Flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Thank you, DW. Yeah, already running 4 different grooves through that corner. You didn't really see a lot of that with the older cars. New Hampshire was more of a single groove racetrack, so interesting the next gen has widened this track out. Maybe it's just the track is aged, allowing them to run different grooves. If you go back, especially like Jeff Burton's win here, where he led every lap, it's just kind of a freight train. Carson Hocevar up to 4th place, now to 3rd. William Byron trying to work his way back to the inside of Carson Hocevar. And right now, Josh Berry in 2nd. That is so rough. Josh Berry, the first round, he should have finished well in those 3 races because he's a short track racer, and those tracks all favor guys with short track experience. And then, you know, he's having a good run so far here. We'll see how his day ends up. All right, SVG's actually moving through the field. Interesting. And if he's running that well, I would expect his teammates to be up there. So Chastain running 8th as well. So good day so far for the Trackhouse cars. How is Suarez doing? Suarez back in 28th. I wouldn't be surprised if they're giving him the junk equipment since he is leaving the team. SVG's been trying to improve at the oval tracks. He's been running legend car races. And he actually won one about a month ago now. So these flatter ovals might lend themselves to his skill set. Suarez to Spire. It's hard to say. I haven't really heard many rumors about that. I did hear a little bit of a rumor that maybe he could end up at Junior Motorsports. Go back to Xfinity for a little bit. Because, I mean, if I was a driver, I know it's a downgrade, but I would rather go back to Xfinity and just have a good career in Xfinity than to leave the sport entirely. Yeah, Osbound Stroud said Carson's up to P3. That's interesting. And he had a few second place finishes this year, some close races they got away from him. So maybe today's the day he breaks through. It's crazy to me that he's been the fastest Spire car this year, because I thought Michael McDowell would have a good year, and I thought Justin Haley would have a better year, because Justin Haley was getting top 20s in Rick Ware Racing equipment. So the fact that he's in the 7 car and hasn't been performing, kind of weird. Reddick inside our top 5. I'm sure to keep an eye on the running order. That way throughout the race I can tell whether they're trending upwards or downwards. Von Stroud said he's been consistently top 15 since Iowa, if you exclude the couple of car failures. Yeah. He definitely shows a ton of promise. Which is pretty wild because he didn't really have a ton of experience. You know, he had some trucks experience, but I mean, to jump right into Cup, that's super impressive how he's run throughout this year. Yeah, I was thinking that Ty Gibbs would make the lead forward that Carson has in his career, but Ty just hasn't seemed to have found his rhythm in this next-gen car outside of last week. Yeah, I could totally see him making the playoffs. I mean, especially with 16 drivers getting in. If they would get rid of the win in your in system, a lot more guys that just run consistently would make it in. Denny Hamlin right now riding around in P14. Ty Gibbs trying to make the pass on the inside. 77 may ruffle some feathers today. Non-playoff winner. That would be interesting because you don't see a ton of non-playoff winners in the playoffs. Seems like the playoff teams bring their best stuff. All right, we're under commercial. 14 laps into today's race. Let's see what they've posted so far in the NASCAR Twitter. Round of 8. Green flag flies at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Oh, I didn't see that. Kurt Busch was there pre-race. I wasn't tuned into the countdown to green, so I didn't see that. Cool seeing Kurt there. It'd be fun if Denny ended up winning because Denny is afraid of the lobster. So it is funny to see him presented that lobster. What's up, Double A? Good to see you, man. Do you guys have any picks so far on who you think is going to win? The name I heard tossed around a ton before qualifying was Christopher Bell. Right now, P17. Will Kurt ever drive any one-off races? I don't know. Especially with how bad that last concussion got him. I don't know if he would risk that because it took him months to recover. What do you think? We have one Reddick prediction. He's due for one. Double A's thinking it could be a Logano domination. He's going to be hard to pass, but Barry's staying with him. Really, those two Penske Fords, you know, technically it's Wood Brothers, but Josh Berry's car is prepared by Penske. Running pretty well so far, and Blaney's in 4th, so the Penske cars have something figured out, at least at this point in the race. Whoa, roughing the passer. Danny Dimes just got laid out. 51-yard field goal attempt. Josh Berry currently has our Xfinity fastest lap. Not like that bonus point's going to do him any good. Yeah, Logano's just hard to pass once he's out front. He's one of the guys that has made the most use of having that in-car camera. He's very good at aero blocking. Logano's already put a pretty big gap on the field. You know, Barry's 7/10 back, but the rest of the field already a few seconds back. Going back to Austin Cindric, 13 seconds back in 20th. Wild. We're running 30.5 second laps. Around that. And we already have a Cody Ware's already 22 seconds down. Kyle Busch. What is he doing? 21 seconds back. That is inexcusable. Chase Elliott's only made 2 positions up since the start of the race. Not a great start for one of our playoff contenders. It'll be interesting to see if this track changes throughout the race and what changes these guys might make on their pit stops. Chastain's fallen back a couple positions since we last looked at him. He was in 8th, now he's back to 10th. So we have the top 10 all running under 30 seconds at the moment. Keep an eye on what the tire fall off is throughout this run. Maybe in about 10, 15 laps, we'll see if there's any noticeable fall off. I just got an ad for a haunted house. It's that time of the year. All right, Barry has cut 2/10 off the lead. It'll be interesting to see here if Arrow's playing a factor, because Barry did close in earlier in the run, like 6 laps ago, maybe, and then fell back a few tenths. So if he falls back again after cutting this gap down, that'll tell me all I need to know. Bell's still running back there, mid-pack, 16th currently. So right now, the Penske guys, we have Logano up front, Blaney in 3rd, and then the unofficial Penske car, the Wood Brothers 21, in 2nd place. It would be pretty cool to see Josh Berry win. I like seeing the 21 car in victory lane. I think Josh Berry is a pretty stand-up guy. He has a cool story in how he got here to the Cup Series. And especially after finishing last 3 weeks in a row, it would be redemption to see Josh Berry go to victory lane here. Right now, our biggest movers have only moved up 5 to 6 positions. All right, Tyler Reddick is reporting brake issues. Let's keep an eye on that. You know, it's 2 to 7 degrees of banking at this track. So if they roll into the corner without those brakes, I mean, there's not much to stop you. And we've seen a lot of times with this next-gen car, the whole, you know, not just a lack of brakes, but the brakes failing in an explosive fashion and cutting the right front down. Then once you have that, you also deal with a lot of debris on track, so let's keep an eye on this. That 45 looks so much like Denny Hamlin's progressive scheme. So every time they show his car, I think it's Denny Hamlin on screen. Denny is up to 13th. Bell has moved up 1 more position to 15th. Chase Elliott up 1 more position to 24th. very slowly working his way forward. How are our lower tier guys doing? Cody Ware, 30.3 seconds back. So Cody Ware is about to go a lap down. It's happening right now. So Cody Ware is now 1 lap down. Kyle Busch is next on the chopping block. Running a 31.2. He's running a 31. So in the next few laps, we should see Logano approach Kyle Busch. With 38 to go, I don't think Kyle Busch is going to hold him off. He needs a caution bad. All right, Barry's closing in. 2.5 tenths back. Now 3 to 4. I think it's Arrow. I think it's Arrow. He got down to 2 tenths and then lost 3 tenths just on corner exit. That's rough. All right, back to commercial break. So it seems like about every 15 to 16 laps, we're going to get a commercial. And this, New Hampshire's really not the most eventful race. That's not bad. As long as it's competitive. Just keep an eye on this gap. We're not on the side-by-side, so if you want to keep an eye on the battle for the lead, just watch this time behind. Kyle Busch 30.4 seconds behind, so Kyle Busch is about to go a lap down. There has been a little bit of fall off here. So they were running around 30-second lap times. Now we're running 38 to 31-second laps. Tyler Reddick under 31. Ryan Blaney and Byron both under 31. Kyle Busch I think Kyle Busch slowed down our leaders there. Next on the chopping block, John Hunter Nemechek. And he's probably going to go a lap down very soon. With like 25 laps or so to go in this stage, we're probably going to see a good portion of the field go a lap down. Especially if the leaders don't start falling off. Yeah, I hate seeing Kyle Busch run that poorly. A lot of people really hate Kyle Busch. Especially, now that he's a veteran. His attitude's kind of changed towards things, and he's driving a Chevy. I cut him some slack now. I don't like seeing our veterans go out with a whimper, All right, John Hunter Nemechek is holding up our leader right here, but Joey Logano looks like he's going to get to the inside to the door. All right, Joey Logano not able to clear there. See if he can clear on corner exit. All right, John Hunter Nemechek has officially gone a lap down. And now Joey Logano has a little buffer back to Barry. Very impressive that Barry's been able to stay up there. But Blaney's in the conversation now. These Penske Fords, they have something figured out today. NASCAR needs to inspect these cars. They're doing something. They're doing a thing. right, Blaney is to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek and will clear. So the first three in our battle for the lead have gotten around John Hunter Nemechek. Who is next? Cole Custer, 30.2. Running 31s right now. So Custer will probably go a lap down within the next few laps. What's the gap between these guys? 2/10. Yeah, Eric Jones has dropped back. So Eric Jones probably about to go a lap down, and Cole Custer's just right in front of him. So these two guys probably about to lose a lap here. So bad day if you're a Eric Jones fan. Jason Switzer, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. All right. Barry is driving it even below the apron. It's Arrow. It's Arrow. Barry is the faster car right now, but he can't pass because of this Arrow. I hate this car. I hate this car so much. Jason Switzer says he's relaxing with his fiance and you're eating some Pizza Hut. Sounds like a good day. That sounds like a good day. MVP says Bobby Labonte will win. That's a good prediction. That's a good prediction. I think Bobby's really adapted to this next-gen car very well. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about him, but, you know, he could definitely be a dark horse today. Joey being the guy in the lead right now is the worst case scenario for the field because he will use that camera to aero block. I want to see if Blaney has any better luck. Because Blaney, once his temper gets to him, you know, he's not afraid to use the bumper. And he's also more used to just driving up front. So Blaney might have a bit more of an edge here. Custer has now gone a lap down. Not a great year for Cole Custer. He should probably still be in Xfinity, to be honest. Yeah, Blaney looks strong right now. Blaney's actually been moving through the field. He's actually been able to make a few passes. Anybody but Logano. Because of how poorly he runs in the regular season, I can't stand watching him turn it on during the playoffs. All right, Chase Elliott up to 21st position. He's moved up from 27th, so not great. But he is able to make some passes, so that's more than a lot of the field can say. Ross Chastain has fallen 2 positions back. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. about to go a lap down here. Blaney wasn't able to get a run there. Barry is closing back in. So it seems like to me, Barry's able to run these guys down. But when he gets behind, you know, within 2 car lengths, the car loses the nose on exit. Jason Switzer says his fiance Trisha hates Joey Logano. So yeah, there's some nuance here. Joey's a good guy. And he's fantastic for the fans. I think he won Ambassador of the Year. So he got a bonus from NASCAR. He makes tons of appearances. all around the United States for his sponsors and for Penske. And I've heard good things about him and Brad Keselowski both staying way later than they needed to sign autographs for fans. Just being good ambassadors for the sport. But in the car, I'm not his biggest fan. All right, Blaney is right on Logano's tail. Joey better watch out. If Blaney loses the nose here, it's Logano that would pay the price. All right, Blaney's there. They're even. Logano will probably have the advantage on corner exit. Blaney needs to stay here. All right, drive him up the track a little bit. Drive him up the track a little bit. All right, Blaney is clear. Now let's see how Logano does in traffic. Still 18 to go in this stage. SVG up to 5th. Hocevar dropped a position. Larson's moved up to 8th. Bowman back to 9th. McDowell running P10. And Hamlin's moved up to 11th. So we do have some movers and shakers throughout the field. Chase Elliott's still running 21st for our Chase Elliott fans. NASCAR's most popular driver. All right, who's on the chopping block next? Ty Dillon. We're running... That's a pretty good lap time for this late in the run. A 39. And now he's 38 back pretty much. So by the time we get back from commercial, Ty Dillon will have gone a lap down. Then it's Todd Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Austin Dillon. I mean, just a nest of cars. So even up to 25th, I would be nervous about going a lap down here. And with how track position heavy this race is going to be, and already has been, you can't afford to go a lap down here. Kyle Busch has been able to get around Eric Jones, so he's no longer in 35th. Up to P34. What is happening with Kyle Busch? Double A says all Hendrick cars are in the top 10 other than Chase. Let me zoom back up. Scroll back. Okay. We have Byron P4, P8, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and P9. And then Chase Elliott way down there. He's moved up to 20th. It's another position for Chase Elliott. Jason said he'll be back in a little bit. Have to go to Walmart for groceries and milk. You drink 3 to 4 gallons of milk by yourself? That's impressive. I can respect a milk drinker. So, for any football fans out there, Indianapolis is up 20-6 over Tennessee right now. Good stuff. That's an in-conference battle. So, this could end up deciding who gets in the playoffs. Tennessee really needs to turn things around, but I hope it's not today. All right, Chase Elliott up one more position, up to 19th. Panthers are winning. Who are the Panthers playing? All right, Ty Dillon has gone a lap down officially. Riley Herbst is next. So we're probably about to see Riley Herbst and Ryan Preece about to go a lap down. The fight for 7th is just a nest of cars. Carson to Bowman are all within a few car lengths. So, wow. Hornet's nest back there. Carson Hocevar and Tyler Reddick are side by side. Kind of holding up the field. John Hunter Nemechek right in front of them. That's right. Go Colts. All right, there we go. Ryan Preece and Riley Herbst have officially gone a lap down. Todd Gilliland will be next. Three wide. John Hunter Nemechek was on the outside. Tyler Reddick inside. Carson Hocevar middle. All right, Hocevar was able to pull back ahead of Reddick there. So they're no longer side by side. Reddick's trying to get back to the inside. So Larson's moving up through the field. Keep an eye on Larson. He's been making some movement. And what happened with Chase in qualifying? Because, I mean, he's moving up relatively well. 27th to 19th. Oh, my goodness. Caution. Cody Ware spun in front of our leaders. That could have been devastating. That is insane. Leave it to Cody Ware to almost crash our championship contenders. That's something. Whew, man, that breaks up a good little green flag run we had going. I was enjoying that. So, looks like Ryan Preece will get his lap back. Todd Gilliland escapes going a lap down. Great break for these guys that were at the tail end of the lead lap. And this will restack the field. So they have a call to make here. Do they come into pit and flip the stage? Or do they stay out for stage points? And track position's been pretty important here, so probably come in here. Bubba is not happy with his car. Tied in, loose off. Terrible condition to have. Can't get into the corner with a lot of speed, and then when you want to pick up the speed, pick up the throttle on corner exit, you can't lay the power down. That's the worst. Double A says we need a 3-lap shootout for the stage. Be interesting to see who stays out here. Probably all of our contenders will come in just because of how important track position's been here. So this will be really interesting. If some guys stay out on old tires, what will end up happening here is that our leaders, before these pit stops, they will be behind them, stuck in traffic. So we really need to keep an eye on the battle back in the pack. Yeah, it looks like all the contenders came in. I think a few guys took the wave around, or will take the wave around. Ryan Preece now being shown back on the lead lap. Honestly, I mean, it would be a great time to take the wave around. Because you get a free pit stop in a few laps. So I doubt they're going to go another lap down in however many laps we go back to green with. Ryan Priest currently scored P1. How about that? Yeah, so our leaders may not be stuck in traffic. Interesting, no one stayed out to gamble there, but I mean, it really doesn't benefit anyone. If you think about it, if you're not in the playoffs already, what does a stage point matter? Probably not that much to you, so. Unless you're in a tight battle for like bonus points or something. That's where the money is. All right, let's see if we have a replay of that last caution. Yes, we do. All right, let's get a replay on screen for you guys. This is why we're under caution. So right in front of our leaders. So Cody Ware was about to go 2 laps down. He is so far off the pace. That is wild. There we go. Austin Dillon just rattled his cage there. And Austin Dillon, you know, had to check up there right in front of our leader, Ryan Blaney. That could have been a day ender right there in terms of being competitive. I do love that 51 paint scheme. Beautiful car. It's a shame that it runs like an absolute tractor. Actually, that's an insult to tractors. All right, this restart should be pretty intense. You know, it being a track position race, usually on the restarts, that's when, you know, the craziest things happen. And for our playoff drivers, every point matters. All right, 2 to go. We're going to restart with a 1-lap shootout here, it looks like. That is wild. Restarting just with 1 lap. That is... That's definitely a decision. So we still have our 3 Penske cars up front. William Byron, P4. Carson Hocevar, 5th. 6th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 7th, Larson. 8th, Reddick. 9th, Bowman. So Reddick is our big loser there. Dropping a position on pit road. Larson able to gain a position. I agree. The yellows are way too long. They have to do something about that. And then on top of cautions for incident, we have the stage breaks, and they take several laps. All right, Ryan Blaney's going to get our stage win here. Hocevar about took out Josh Berry there. All right, William Byron's going to steal P3. So our 2 Penske cars up front. Berry dropping back to 4th. Hocevar in 5th. 6th, Larson. 7th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 8th, Alex Bowman. 9th, Tyler Reddick. And 10th, Michael McDowell. Just missing out on stage points, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell. Then in 15th, Bubba Wallace. 16th, Chase Elliott. So Bubba able to go from 20th to 15th there. before the caution and after. So good gain for him. Maybe they were able to make some adjustments to his car to suit it to his liking. And then Chase also gaining a position there before the caution cycle. I think he was 17th, and now he is 16th. So pretty good. I mean, he may have even been down towards 19th. I have to go back and look. Great day for SVG so far. You know, we just had a long yellow flag cycle. Come back for a one-lap sprint, and then we go back under commercial. NASCAR should implement a new rule. If the caution comes out within a certain number of laps to the stage break, just count that as the stage break. It's kind of ridiculous to go under caution back to back. Let's see, how many guys do we have a lap down now? Only Cody Ware. So everyone else took the wave around, I believe. Cody Ware scored 2 laps down. That's so sad to see Kyle Busch back here. Eric Jones in our 43. One of the iconic numbers in the sport. Running back there in 35th. That's rough. All right, touchdown Colts. Good stuff. Looks like they're going to start the season off 3-0. Still have a lot of time left, but I don't see the Titans coming back. Yep. I don't know if it's the choose cone or what they need to change or adjust, but caution cycles take so long nowadays, and it's unbearable when you're at the track just sitting there, you know, especially if you're at a longer track, Talladega, or a road course like Old Circuit of the America. It is ridiculous how long you're just sitting there waiting. And it's frustrating, especially like at a track like Bristol. You have one caution and you lose 15 laps just under a caution cycle. That is not acceptable. And you know, since our stage 2 caution, we've already run 4 laps. So you lose a ton of time under caution. All right, under commercial again. Good heavens. I wish NASCAR had a way to follow the points live. The broadcast does it. I wish NASCAR would publish that, because I would love to, you know, see how those stage finishes impacted the point standings. So we actually have a view of that last caution from Ryan Blaney's in-car. Take a look at that. Wow. That is insane. You know, not just Cody Ware spinning, but when the 3 checks up here, right in front of our leader, Oh! Ryan Blaney saw that Toys for Tots decal, up close and personal. He's going to have dreams about that. Or I should say nightmares. Woo! Doesn't seem like if they made any contact, it hurt Blaney at all. He was able to pick up that stage 1 victory. Let's see, what are guys saying? Search NASCAR. Stage 1 winner, Ryan Blaney. Whoa, I don't know if you guys heard that. Massive thunderclap outside my window. I don't know if you guys saw that. Michael, one of the big NASCAR YouTubers, his channel got hacked yesterday by a crypto person, but luckily he was able to get his channel back, so it all worked out. Border Patrol recruiters in New Hampshire, that's wild. Valvoline has hands down some of my favorite schemes. They rarely miss. Now we're on lap 7 of stage 2. We've been under caution this whole time. Wild. Earlier this morning, I saw the Euro Series running. They're in their playoff season as well. All right, Blaney's taking the outside. Byron taking the inside. So Byron's going to try here to get the best start he can. Obviously, take the lead if he has the opportunity. But if not, he'll try to slot in to P2. But I don't even know if he'll be able to pull that off. That inside is not the groove you want to be in on the restart. All right, here we come. To the restart. 7 laps under caution, by the way. Daytona's in the hospital? You're in the you're in a hospital, or you are in the hospital. Either way, I hope things go well. All right, Byron not able to hold Logano off. I don't think he's going to be able to. Oh, Logano slipped up a little bit, but he's going to get a good exit, I believe. They're side by side. Byron on the inside, Logano on the outside. If Byron's going to make the pass, it needs to be now. He can't afford to let Logano in front of him. Daytona said, "Oh, it's your pappy." All right. Well, I hope things turn out well. Hopefully, he's all right, and hopefully your family's able to manage. 'Cause it's tough. It's tough on everybody when you have a family member in the hospital. All right, Logano was able to clear Byron. So Byron back to P3. Carson Hocevar in 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen up to 5th. For now, Barry's on his outside. He's a lot better. That's good. Hopefully that continues. So 5th and 6th are side by side. 7th and 8th are side by side. These guys are kind of stacked up. Woo! Woo! caution. SVG just took out Josh Berry. Josh Berry can't have anything good in his life. That's rough. This is your reminder. If you have the NASCAR mobile app, go ahead and check in. Just open the app, go to the leaderboard and check in. To earn your free points for today's race, you can redeem that for free merchandise, autograph merchandise, experiences, free tickets. You can wave the green flag. You can ride in the pace car. A lot of cool opportunities for members of the NASCAR Fan Rewards program. It's free to join, free app to download. Certainly worth it. If you tune into the races each week, you might as well be doing this. I was able to buy multiple hats and get like a lunchbox, an umbrella, sunglasses, tons of free stuff last year. I got 6 months free of Sirius XM radio. Great program NASCAR has. Whew. SVG saying it wasn't his fault. I can see his point there. Am I sponsored? Not right now.
White flag, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
If Credit One Bank wants to throw me some dollars, I do shout them out quite a bit. And if NASCAR wants to throw me some dollars. All right, few guys in the back of the pack coming down pit road. Josh Berry will be one of those cars. It'll be interesting to see maybe if Josh Berry can turn this around into something positive. You know, unlikely, but if the cautions fall a certain way, maybe he could stay out and regain some track position. I'm getting 2 different commercials right now. This is odd. On my PC, I had a Napa ad, and on my MacBook, I have a lawyer or a legal ad. That's wild. Yeah, I definitely need to have a conversation with Steve. That's just too funny. So Daytona here in our chat, he emailed Steve O'Donnell and got a response. It was pretty hilarious. All right, Titans score. So 12-27. The Titans will probably go for 2 here. All right, under commercial once more. We had a few cautions here. We had the caution for Cody Ware. Now we have, and then we had the stage 1 caution. Now we have another caution for Josh Berry going around. So a lot of caution laps here. with these crazy moves they have to make on the restarts, I wouldn't be surprised to see another one. But if we can single file out, we're probably going to get a long green flag run. Let's take a look at this. So we have some tweets from Wood Brothers Racing. They just showed this on the broadcast. So we did it, finished stage 1. We made it a lap in the vicinity of the 77 and managed not to be turned around looking at traffic or on fire or dragging the track. Things are looking up, but I've jinxed it, no doubt. That was 15 minutes ago. Then 5 minutes ago, spoke too soon. Again, brought that one on ourselves. That is rough. All right, going back to green flag. Ryan Blaney on the outside again. Byron to the inside of Logano. Hocevar almost made it 3 wide there. Thought better of it. Oh, hey, Doodlebug. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Woo! 4 wide back through the pack. Almost 5 wide. Wow. Oh, little contact between Hamlin and Bell, possibly. That was close. Wild racing we have on this restart. Logano back to P2. Byron falling back to P4. They're showing Hocevar in 3rd place currently. They're side by side. Byron will tuck in behind Hocevar. All right, there for a couple laps, we had some 3 wide action. Tyler Reddick on the inside, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 2nd groove, and up on the outside groove, Alex Bowman. These guys are going at it. Right now on the cut line, Chase Elliott 1 above the cut line, Briscoe 1 below, Wallace 6 below, 9 below is Chastain, and 10 below the cut line. Our last place driver currently, Austin Cindric. 10 points isn't a huge battle to overcome, so it's doable. Woo! Contact between Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson. They better watch out. If this was the old car, there would be a cut down tire right now. Daytona said the racing team's admins are so fire. Yeah, they're pretty funny. They stay on top of the culture. And I like when they poke fun at each other. That makes me laugh. We still have 3 wide here. This is nuts. And this is just holding up Denny Hamlin. Woo! They're all over each other. Bell into Gibbs. Gibbs into the 4. They are just bouncing off of each other. The brand admins are too, yeah. All right. Noah Gragson wins that battle. Ty Gibbs also able to get out in front, and now Denny Hamlin's making a move on the outside of Christopher Bell. No, I think he went down the track intentionally to make a point. Kind of wild to be treating your teammates like that. Not a good look. Chase Elliott in P14 currently. It would be a huge win for Chase Elliott if he could get stage points here. Any stage points. I like Brad Keselowski's car. I'm probably going to try to pick up that diecast. His Red Sox scheme. Pretty awesome. All right, another three-wide battle back through the field. Bubba Wallace on the inside, Ross Chastain middle, Brad Keselowski on the high line. Brad able to pick up the gas there and get past both of them. I saw that. I saw Mike was able to get his channel back. We just talked about that a little bit ago. I saw one of his tweets. That's good. I'm glad they were able to work that out. Chastain back to 17th. Earlier in this race, he was running around our top 5, so kind of wild to see him fall back so far. Larson up to P5, Bowman P6. We have 3 Hendrick cars running just outside of our top 3. We actually have several Chevys. Hocevar, Shane Van Gisbergen. And then up in P1, P2, we have our 2 Penske Fords. Blaney's still out front, has about a 1.5 second advantage over Joey Logano. All right, well, not William Byron. Kyle Larson up to 4th. William Byron back to 5th. A crypto scammer got a hold of his account, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get it back, but that situation worked itself out. Huge Colts catch right there. And hopefully the wind just got knocked out of him. We do have a player down on the field. Right now, Bell and Hamlin running side by side. Bell's kind of on the slide right now. It's because he's in the Ream car. If Christopher Bell was in his DeWalt car, he would be up front. That's how it works. He needs the yellow car. All right, under commercial again, 32 laps in to stage 2. Now 33 laps in. Chase Elliott still running P14. That's our lowest running Hendrick driver. Ross Chastain into 16th place, up from 17th. Bubba has fallen back. I think he restarted 15th, and now he's down to 20th. Not great. Really not a good day for Cindric either, running 21st. His teammates running 1 and 2. And Josh Berry was competing up there for the lead. So, you know, what's wrong with the 2 car? Great day for Noah Gragson right now, running P10. I know Noah Gragson has quite a few fans. I think he won our All-Star fan vote. So, for all of our Noah Gragson fans, good day for you guys. Finally. Also a good day for Michael McDowell so far. Yeah, Josh Berry does need a win. He has moved up to 22nd, so he is moving through the field. We know he has a fast car. Hopefully his underbody wasn't damaged during that spin. They called that Colts playback. Incomplete pass. Yeah, Hocevar is having a good race. It'll be interesting to see if they can make the required adjustments to be competitive with those two Penske Fords. They're clearly the class of the field right now. We're showing some Kyle Busch action right now on screen. Into the back of Riley Herbst. Kyle Busch should be running in that 35. I know it wouldn't exist without Riley Herbst's family's money, but if he's not at Gibbs, he should go race over with 2311. Anywhere else, to be honest. RCR is not a good fit for Kyle Busch, clearly. Not really much movement throughout our field right now. The biggest mover so far on this restart, Josh Berry, up to 19th. So Josh Berry working his way back forward. Yeah, Reddick did well at RCR, but one thing to point out about that time period is they had a partnership with Hendrick Motorsports. And I don't believe that is a thing anymore. I don't believe they're sharing information like they were. So that, Denny Hamlin spinning his teammate, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs into the outside wall. He spun his teammate in front of his other teammate, Christopher Bell. What is up with the Joe Gibbs cars today? They are all over each other. They're all over each other. Gibbs and Bell into each other earlier, and now Hamlin turns Ty Gibbs around. Yeah, Denny is angry. That's right. Yeah, that would suck. To be on a race team and one of your teammates is related to the owner. That would be miserable. And there and you know, we know I'm talking about JGR, but I could also be talking about RCR and Kyle Busch racing with Austin Dillon. That is wild. So who might be the recipient of the free pass here? They're scoring Ty Gibbs 2 laps down. Cody Ware back in the lead lap. We'll see if that changes. Yeah, Ty Gibbs' car is still stuck on track. He's about to go another lap down. Denny better watch out. Because, you know, Denny's team is partnered. Denny's, you know, the team he owns is partnered with Joe Gibbs. And Joe Gibbs has a history of forcing his satellite teams to shut down due to rising costs. I'm referencing Furniture Row. Not Furniture Row. What was that team's name called? the team Kurt Busch ran for, and then Martin Truex Jr. ran for. What was that team's name? Oh, it was Furniture Row. Okay. Yeah, the 78. All right, good. Good. I doubted myself. I shouldn't have doubted myself. What threw me off is front row. Furniture Row, front row. That is crazy to me. That's still crazy. And this shows how broken the system is in NASCAR, how the teams are paid. The championship team shut down in the offseason after they won the championship. The championship team should be making the lion's share of the money. But, you know, that's absolutely insane. Yes, the 95 team also got choked out. Levine Family Racing, however it's pronounced. They had Matt DiBenedetto and Christopher Bell, I think, drove for them as well. And then Bell took Eric Jones' ride. So the Colts were able to score again. So now it's 34-13. Kind of surprised the Titans didn't go for 2. 95 was more or less a start and park. Maybe not that bad. Because they did get close to a few wins. They did get close. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They definitely received more help when Bell was there. Because, you know, they were trying to develop Bell. And I think they did a fine job. I think Bell's going to be a championship contender for the next 15 years. Bell, Tyler Reddick, Carson Hocevar, you know, a lot of younger guys. And then now, you know, next year we're going to have Connor Zillage. We'll see how he adapts to the next gen car. All right, under commercial still. Let's take a look at our Twitter. Let's see if we have any replays to show here. All right, we do have a replay of our last incident. Wild stuff here. Teammates. That could have ruined Christopher Bell's day, too. Luckily, he was able to avoid that. SK Titch. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Said he can hear Gibby crying from Arkansas. Yep. The land of... Oh, Skitch. Okay. Yeah, Mark Martin. Yeah, he's from up there. Batesville. It's a shame the track in Memphis isn't still there, because that was, I guess, the closest track to most places in Arkansas. Nowadays, I guess it would be Gateway if you're up in the northwest portion, or northeast. And if you're in the southwest, it might be Texas Motor Speedway. And I think there's a short track in, maybe in BB. I don't know if it's still there. It's a dirt field now, sadly. That's terrible. But I mean, a lot of our racetracks throughout the country, especially our short tracks, have been disappearing one by one. All right, Chase Briscoe going with some strategy here. Chase Briscoe restarting on the outside. We'll see how this plays out. Chris Buescher in P6. That's a new name up there. Tyler Reddick was able to gain some positions there under the caution. Byron and Bowman both losing positions. Hamlin in 10th. Gregson and Van Gisbergen both dropping back a little bit. McDowell dropping one position. Chase Elliott running P14 still. Not much movement there lately. But these restarts have been pretty wild. Looks like we're about to get back to green flag coverage. Here we go.
Flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
All right, Carson Hocevar up to that third groove. Carson, uh-oh. Obviously, the Red Sox car got it in it. Brad Keselowski probably getting a good bit of damage there. We have another caution on the track. SVG involved. Daniel Suarez involved. Brad Keselowski involved. Brad looks like he got the worst of that. Hosoar was I don't know if he got the lead before the caution came out, but he was about to make the pass for the lead. Hurricane Hocevar. That's right. Ooh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Driving all the way down to the inside wall. That was a bad move by Brad there. That was a bad move. He had a run there. I guess you have to take it. Yeah. I don't think Brad expected SVG to cut down the track so hard. I thought maybe, I'm guessing from Brad's point of view, maybe he thought SVG would give him more room, but SVG had nowhere to go. You know, he has 2 cars on his outside, 3 cars on his outside. Technically 5 cars. So, well, that's a ruined race car. We're not going to get a race win version of this diecast, but I would like to pick that one up at some point. Well, SVG had a decent day going, you know, aside from taking out Josh Berry. Yeah, they definitely got into each other pretty forcefully. As soon as we get a replay, we'll get it pulled up. And is that Kyle Busch also involved? What a horrible day. If I was Kyle Busch, I would go home. If I was, I would just go home. I would move heaven and earth to get out of racing for RCR, because clearly it's not working for him. If that required leaving and going and racing in the truck series for a season, so be it. I mean, because there's a chance that maybe he's just washed up. Maybe. I just don't see how a driver can go from the high level that Kyle Busch performed at across the 3 major series to what he's doing now weekly. Yeah, that's maybe not day ending for Kyle, but that's definitely going to take him out of any further discussion. Huge contact with Daniel Suarez. Yeah, Daytona set up in the air. That's right. I didn't see that the first time. Yeah. That is wild stuff. I think Kyle Busch may have to use his lawyer here. Morgan and Morgan. Come on, give me that replay. We do have another replay of the contact between Gibbs and Hamlin. Get that pulled up until we get a replay of the other incident. You have to make the moves when you can with this next gen car. So I understand why he would make a move like that. It's just, you're a veteran, Brad. Like, you gotta know better than that. And I think he just assumed SVG had more room, but SVG didn't really have anywhere to go unless he wanted to get into Bowman and Christopher Bell. Bad Brad. This is a different kind of bad Brad. Roush has been running better. They've been improving. But, you know, it's not the kind of day you want. Especially not when you have one of the owners, you know, premium sports brands on your car. Here again, did the best at old age racing. If Hamlin keeps going the way he is, he may make a run at that. Let's see if we have a replay. That's right, 5 wide. All right, no replay yet of the last incident. Hopefully we get a replay here shortly, but we are back under green flag coverage. Restarting on lap 54 of 115. This stage has been dirty so far. Way different than stage 1. Cautions breed cautions, and these restarts are wild. It looks a lot calmer this time. Possibly because we had several guys taken out. Yeah, Brad definitely caused that wreck and took several good cars out of the race. All right, Briscoe to the lead. Kyle Larson second. This is Kyle's best run in several weeks and possibly months. I mean, he hasn't really had a ton of great runs since the beginning of the season. Hocevar trying to get P3. Logano working his way back forward. Penske guys have just been stuck in this traffic. And Briscoe's 2-tire strategy has worked out. So later in the race, watch for somebody to take 2 tires if we get a late caution. It might be the race-winning move. Come on, Hocevar. Do the thing you're known for. Do it. Come on, do it, Carson Hocevar. Do it. I almost called him Caution Hocevar. Come on. I want chaos. I'm tired of being under caution, but I would accept a caution for this. Now, Carson Hocevar and Joey Logano running side by side is bringing Ryan Blaney into the conversation. Joey Logano is able to make the pass, and Hocevar losing a ton of time here. Yes, the double definitely. I think it hurt his confidence. And he lost some focus. I don't know. Where is 12-time Cup Series champion Cody Ware? Running in 30th. So, with that last caution, he gained a few positions. So, good for Cody. This is the comeback day. Bowman, the furthest down in the running order he's been today. Running 11th, probably about to drop back to 12th. So Bowman falling back through the field. Chase Elliott moving from 14th to 13th. So slight movement for Chase Elliott. Josh Berry recovering to 16th position. So we do have some guys moving around a little bit. Glenn said best tires ever at New Hampshire. There has been a little bit of fall off, but Briscoe's been able to stay out front on 2 tires. So what does that say about the importance of tires? Let's see if he can make it last long term, long into the run. Daytona said Charlotte 4-wide finals. Really? On Fox Sports 1? Interesting. I saw Tony's already announced he's running again next year. So if you're into drag racing or if you're a fan of Tony Stewart, check him out. Glenn says, watch Elliott, the sleeper of the day. Elliott has gained another position up to 12th. Bowman has gained a position. So who dropped back? Chris Buescher is dropping positions. Dropping like a rock here. Interesting. Bell's also slowly been working his way forward. He's narrowly avoided a couple incidents. Had contact with his teammate. Yeah, McDowell running in 9th. Larson in the lead. Briscoe's now falling back, so we'll see how decent those 2 tires really are right now. Seems like he is falling off a bit. Yeah, Hocevar needs to get around the 19 here. Coco Mojo 420 says, great race. I think it's been pretty good so far. We had a lot of cautions there for a bit, but it is going better right now. And I've been enjoying the long runs that we have had. Longer runs, I should say. just seeing how the race plays out. It's been pretty fun. All right, Logano's trying to make a move here on Larson. Those Penske cars are just hard to beat. Yeah, Double A, I agree with that. I am what you might call a New Hampshire hater. I've never been in awe of the kind of races that New Hampshire puts on, but I think the track is aging a bit, and that's opening up some different options, some different lanes, and so it might be maturing into something that is raceable. It's certainly better than it used to be. Modified, yes, the modifieds are good. That's right. They raced, what, Saturday morning? And the guy who won the race won with 3 wheels. He got turned on the last lap into the outside wall. I think his right front broke off, and he crossed the line with 3 wheels. Insanity. The modifieds are just really racy pretty much wherever they go. It's just a great platform for racing. They towed him to victory lane. That's awesome. I didn't see that. That's crazy. Rarely do you see a wrecked race car, you know, in victory lane. There's only a few notable times that's happened, like Terry Labonte at Bristol. There's a car on top of another. Yeah, the modifieds are crazy. It's been fun seeing Newman run in the modifieds. I wish more drivers would continue to race after they leave the Cup Series. Glenn said he'd rather watch Modified than Cup. That's probably not an unheard of opinion, especially with how Cup racing is lately. You love mods but can't watch them. They've been broadcasting some of the races on the NASCAR channel. And you can get the NASCAR channel on Tubi. I think it's also on Roku. Yeah, Tony Stewart definitely has. He's a pretty notable example. Paul Menard is also still racing. I think Paul Menard is Trans Am racing. Yes, the NASCAR channel is free, and Tubi is free as well. And then if you have a Roku, you can also get it on there. They were broadcasting it on the Flow Racing channel. Yeah, they will. That's a good follow on YouTube because Flow will broadcast races almost every day from different parts of the country, different dirt races. Sometimes you'll see short track action, all kinds of stuff. Now, sometimes the feature will be behind a paywall. You have to go to their channel and watch. But as far as like the heats and stuff, usually you can catch those on the YouTube channel. Pretty good follow. Briscoe's only fallen back to 4th. Hocevar hasn't been able to make the pass. So 2 tires is not a bad call. So I would, if we get another caution cycle that's like halfway through a run, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys further back through the field try this 2-tire strategy, because clearly it's working. 54 broken toe link. So he's on pit road currently. That is wild. So it must have already been weekend and then it snapped. There's just tons of like dirt tracks and short tracks that go live on YouTube themselves. So any given night, if you want to watch racing, YouTube is a good place to go if you don't want to have to pay for it. Daytona says he despises Ty Gibbs. I understand that. Especially in his Xfinity career, I didn't like his attitude. I think maybe he's matured a little, but that takes time. John Hunter Nemechek into the outside wall. Caution. Caution on the Speedway. That's our 6th caution of the day. Daytona says he's only there because of Joe. Yeah, I mean that's really what most people can say that are in the Cup Series. They're there because of a family member or because of money. A lot of the drivers are paid drivers nowadays. If you want to watch guys that aren't as, paid, go watch the Cars Tour or something else. Go watch World of Outlaws. But I mean, racing is just a money sport, so you're gonna run into that at every level. Car just got upset, came around right in front of Austin Cindric and into the outside wall hard. Well, let's try to pull up a replay of our last caution for incident. All right, here we go. We have a replay of our last caution. So this was our big one at New Hampshire. Let's go back and pause here. So I'm thinking, so Brad had a run here coming into the corner, and you see he's making up ground on SVG. But I mean, I've seen guys run where SVG is. This is pretty low. This is like video game type move right here, going this low. The spotter can only communicate so much. So what I have to imagine is Brad thought SVG was going to run a little further up the track and give him room to try to make this work. And he probably wouldn't have even have kept the position or made the pass. But in these next gen cars, you have to go for it. Daytona says he's done that in Heat 5. Yes. Yes, if I have a good handling car, I will do that. But, it just comes into this inside, gets into the inside wall, sends SVG around, and then SVG comes up the track in front of Kyle Busch. So Kyle receives damage. And right here, Suarez gets in the air. Little wheel hop. So that's our big one at New Hampshire. So that was the reason for our last caution. Pit road is open. Seems like everybody's coming down. What a great run for Chase Briscoe. Able to make up like 10 positions basically with this pit strategy. So pit call of the day for Briscoe. Now it'll be interesting to me to see if anyone else takes 2 tires here. A lot of guys taking 2. Logano 2 tires, Larson 2 tires, Byron 2, McDowell 2, Bell 2, Hamlin 2. They all took 2. They all took 2. That's wild. So Briscoe, his crew chief was ahead of the game. But now it backfires because Briscoe, I guess, probably just took 4. And so he's going to lose a ton of positions. It worked out well, but since everyone else took 2 this time around, it's going to bite him in the butt. Yep. As soon as I was congratulating Briscoe, I look up and he's not one of the top 10 to leave pit road. I guess everyone saw how well those two tires held on. That's crazy. All right, here's our last caution for incident. This is why we're under caution currently. This gets into the corner, back in, comes around. We see this quite a bit with this next-gen car. This car is hard to save once it starts to go around, and part of that's because of the larger wheel and the shorter sidewall on the tire. So since there's a shorter sidewall, there's less slip angle on the tire. And the other part of it is the new steering. Hard hit there for John Hunter Nemechek, and kind of a double hit. He hits with the right rear, and then the car comes around driver's side, or not driver's side, the right side into the wall. Thank goodness it wasn't a driver's side hit. You know, Gordon had a really bad driver's side impact at Pocono. Absolutely flattened the side of his car. Yeah, big hit there. Let's take a look at our leaderboard and see how we're looking now that they've come off of pit road. That's a big question. Chase Briscoe restarting in 13th. We'll see if Chase can make up any ground here. Maybe it will eventually work out for him. Chase Elliott up to 8th place. That's huge. So Chase Elliott's fuel man holding on to the fuel can there. He took a pretty hard hit, but he saved Chase Elliott's day, perhaps. So let's see if Chase Elliott has anything for the field. This is the highest he's been through the field. Restarting as P9. He was scored an 8th. They almost fumbled. They recovered the fumble. So Logano back to the lead. Larson P2, Byron P3. Christopher Bell, highest he's been all day, in 4th. Bowman back to 5th. Denny Hamlin, the highest he's been all day, in 6th position. Bowman and Hamlin side by side. That's our first side-by-side battle throughout the field. They're kind of stacking things up. Hocevar's right behind them. Yeah. Quite a bit of people. Always glad to have everybody. As a reminder, we usually do this for all of the races, ARCA and up. And we also do a post-race show. So after the race, we will transition to a post-race coverage. And we do have a call-in segment. So if anyone wants to call in and share their thoughts on today's race or anything NASCAR related, you will have an opportunity for that. Give you guys a preview of that. So we haven't updated the bottom of the thing, obviously, because we don't know who's won, but that's a little preview of our post-race coverage. All right, Bell's looking to the inside of Byron. Now, Bell was a lot of people's pick to win today's race. I heard his name brought up quite a bit. We'll see if his car can continue to improve, because right now, those Penske cars still look very strong. Joey out front, he's a hard guy to pass, especially in this next-gen car. His teammate Blaney back to 11th, lowest he's been today. SVG was taken out by Brad Keselowski. John Taylor. You can call in through Discord, or you can call in through our number. We do have a number. I'll show that to you guys real quick. This 615 number. So 2 ways to call in. Dylan should be washing cars, not wrecking them. Now, which Dylan are you talking about? Ty Dillon every once in a while will pull out a good run. It's a Google Voice number. Ty. And then you can kind of count on Austin Dillon. Like maybe not every year, but at least every other year, he will have just one freakishly good race out of nowhere. All right, right now, as they run, Chase Elliott 10 points above the cut line. Chase Briscoe 5 points above the cut line. And the first guy missing out, Chastain. Then we have Reddick, Wallace, and Cindric. Cindric right now is showing 23 points below the cut line. Wallace 20 points under the cut line. So not great. Bubba really hasn't had a handle on it today. And also Austin Cindric has had a pretty rough day. Briscoe restarted in, I believe, 13th. He's only made his way up to 12th. The 4 tires don't seem to have made that much of a difference. Daytona said Ty is out and you're happy. Referring to Ty Gibbs, I guess. New Hampshire running a fall race is the way to go. This thing gets rained out every year. That's a good point, Jay Campbell. That's a good point. You know, NASCAR really has to take that into account when they make the schedules, is what are the weather patterns for each area. We were lucky to get the Coke 400 in Daytona in this year, because it was planned, or the forecast initially was for it to rain the whole weekend, but we were able to get the races in somehow. All right, Logano's still the class of the field. Bell wasn't able to make the pass on Byron, but he's still there. Byron all the way up into the 4th lane, trying to get that good run off of the corner. 10 laps to go in the stage. Really 11, but yeah, right around 10 laps. So we're closing in on the end of stage 2. Let's see whose car is trending upwards or downwards with these 10 laps. Double A said that's why Bristol will never get a finale. Yep. Yeah, Chicago just constantly rains. That sucks. The good thing about Bristol, though, when it rains, is they are able to clear the track relatively quickly compared to a track like Talladega or even a larger intermediate like Chicagoland. You were at Dover, it was sweltering, and then the rain came and you were drenched. Been there several times. I've been at Nashville during rain. I've been at Talladega multiple times during rain. I think it rained when I was at it rained when I was at Daytona as well. Delayed the race to the next day, and then at Bristol. So usually, if I'm at a Cup race, there's a good chance it's going to rain. Frisco. Yeah, Briscoe is up to 11th. Josh Berry rebounding to 12th position currently. Blaney has fallen, not Blaney, Denny Hamlin has fallen back a little bit. Blaney has made a few passes. Chase Elliott still running 7th. Bowman has falling back one position to 6th. Carson Hocevar 5th. And our top 4 stayed stable. Bubba in 24th right now. Running behind his teammate Riley Herbst. That's a bad day. That's a really bad day. And Tyler Reddick running the worst he has, I think, all day. Back in 14th. 2311 cars have just fallen off a cliff here. Glenn says, excellent. That's right. All right. Joey's still out front to a 1.4 second advantage. Hocevar up to 4th. So a little movement there. Bell back to P5. Blaney up to 6th position. So Blaney moving his way back forward. Yeah, they are pretty fast for 2 tires. 3.7. That's around what they were running on Warren 4 tires. A little faster, actually. We'll see how they hold on. I lied earlier. I said we were 10 laps to go. We were 20 laps to go. So we're closing in on 10 laps to go in stage 2. Whew. Bowman under attack from Denny Hamlin. As we run to the end of the stage, Bowman needs to hold on here. Denny trying to earn a couple extra stage points. Probably about to pick off both Bowman and Chase Elliott. Doesn't seem like they're running too well here. The cautions of stage 2 definitely slowed the pace of the race down quite a bit. All right, Blaney around Christopher Bell. These Penske Fords right now showing they're the class of the field, except for Austin Cindric. Not good. Barry is up to 11th. Slowly working his way back through the field. So Bowman, if he wants to be a solid teammate, he needs to hold off Denny as long as he can to try to give Chase enough time to hold this track position. It looks like Denny's going to be able to clear him here. Bowman's trying to stay on his outside quarter panel. Once he loses that, it's over for Bowman. 6, 7, you say? Suspect. That's a very specific number. All right. Bowman dropping 2 positions here. Probably about to lose a 3rd. So this will move Josh Berry back inside the top 10. All right, Chase is going to try to hold on. 9 laps to go in stage 2. Josh Berry still has our fastest lap of the race. Not that that 1 point will help him much, but be interesting to see if anyone can take that from him. One of our playoff drivers, perhaps. Skid says Cody Ware will win today. He'll use his elite teleportation powers. I've seen that. He doesn't show it to just anyone. Yeah, I pull for the underdogs, so, you know, when Josh Berry last year was having, not Josh Berry, when Justin Haley last year was having good finishes for Rick Ware, I was always happy for him. And Rick Ware is loaded. He has teams in all different motorsport series. So, you know, he could invest more in this NASCAR team if he wanted to. Glenn said 2 tires are giving up. Briscoe's only made his way up to 9th, so he hasn't made up a ton of ground. Kind of a wash for Briscoe. He may have, you know, been running here anyway if he had just taken 4 tires last time. Blaney in P5. Blaney might be able to pass for 4th place. 6 laps to go in the stage. And they're interviewing Ty here. That was kind of a dirty question from the reporter there. She was trying to bait him into a big headline, and he avoided it the best he could. I don't mind when drivers have that kind of an interview. I understand it. You know, you got to be pretty upset the day ended the way it did, and then a reporter tries to bait you into, you know, a potentially controversial question. Yeah, that was definitely a Kyle Busch interview. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I've been seeing that trend a lot lately. Actors, athletes, you know, different people that are, you know, in prominent positions, just not accepting pointed questions anymore. If someone tries to get like a clickbait, you know, headline from an interview or a question, they've been getting called out a lot. Like, that's just a stupid question. Why would you ask that? The other side of the coin is you're a public figure. You're supposed to be able to handle that kind of pressure and respond to it. You know, that's part of what you're paid for. Yep. That, I mean, honestly, that's about the best thing he could have said. The next best, I guess, would have been taking responsibility, maybe. That's definitely the route some guys take. So, like, in Ty Gibbs' head, he was having one of his better runs of the year in this race. To get taken out by your teammate, you know, I understand Denny's running for a championship, but Denny almost took out Christopher Bell as well. So it's not like Denny's out there, you know, some warrior. All right, Logano taking stage 2. Larson P3, William Byron 4th, 5th Ryan Blaney, 6th Carson Hocevar. No, 5th Carson Hocevar, 6th Christopher Bell, 7th Chase Elliott, 8th Denny Hamlin, 9th Chase Briscoe, and 10th Josh Berry. Good recovery for Josh Berry. Lynn said 12 took 4. I just think Ryan Blaney's faster. I think he's potentially driving the fastest car in the field right now. The Penske cars are clearly the class of the field, aside from Austin Cindric. Cindric is up to 17th. Best he's been all day, I believe. And he's been running down in the mid-20s. But even Berry has made his way back to 10th. I think at one point he was at least down to 27th. So good recovery for Josh Berry. If he was still in the playoffs, he would have received a stage point. Bowman falling back quite a bit. there towards the end, back to 11th. Chase Elliott able to hold 7th for maximum stage points. If he had lost the position of Denny Hamlin, Briscoe probably would have also gotten around him. So good for him to hold on. Glenn said Hamlin will wreck the 12 to win. You looked in your crystal ball. That's what you saw. You saw Hamlin wrecking Denny. Could be. Double A says Chase low-key has a really good car. Maybe. Maybe. I think if he got up there to the top 5, he would probably stay in the top 5. But I haven't seen winning speed out of that car. And Bell, it looked like his car was improving. He had worked his way up through the field up to 4th position. But it seems like throughout that run, he was falling off. So we'll see what they'll do there. Denny Hamlin's slowly been working his way up. Briscoe as well. And then our lowest playoff driver currently, Bubba Wallace, in 25th position. Not great. Cody Ware inside the top 30. How about that? 29th. Glenn said a Ford wins. If it's going to be a Ford, it's probably going to be a Penske Ford. All right, pit road is open. First guy staying out is Kyle Busch, probably trying to get a wave around, I'm guessing. Not sure it's going to help him too much, but good for him to stay out and fight. All right, 11-second flat for Larson. 9.8 for Byron. These times aren't completely accurate. They just stop the clock whenever they do. Joey Logano able to roll off first. It looks like Cindric took 2 tires there, yeah. Byron 4, able to get out 3rd. Larson losing 2 positions there. Hamlin able to move up 3 positions. Chase Elliott able to move up 1. Then Ryan Blaney losing 3 positions. And Christopher Bell losing 2 positions. I don't hate the 2-tire call. Because Cindric was, what, 17th? So if he's able to just hold on and, you know, restart 2nd and maybe somehow hold on to even 12th, that would be a gain. Yeah, the 2 tires are not bad. I didn't see a ton of lap time differential there. You know, Briscoe wasn't able to get around Hamlin. Hamlin was on 2, Briscoe was on 4. All right, while we're on a commercial, let's see if we have a replay. That's our last replay. Let's go ahead and just do the big one. I'll leave you guys with this. I am going to step away for a moment, but I shall return. So I heard they were talking about the Kansas race next week. That should be a good race for Xfinity and for Cup. So I'm excited to see that. Kansas has been putting on a pretty good race for the last handful of years. So I hope that goes well for us. Take a look at our running order before we restart. Joey Logano restarting in the lead. His teammate Austin Cindric, highest he's been today. We'll see if he can hold on with this two-tire gamble. William Byron third, Kyle Larson fourth, Denny Hamlin fifth, Chase Elliott sixth, seventh, Ryan Blaney, eighth, Christopher Bell, ninth, Josh Berry, and 10th, Carson Hocevar. Now some playoff drivers restarting outside the top 10. We have Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace down to 26th position. Not great. Not great. But this is the highest Denny Hamlin's been all day. And William Byron might be able to steal P2 here. I think Cindric will probably take the outside. That'll leave Byron with the inside. I don't think Byron will get the lead here. But as long as he can slot in a second position, this will be an overall win for William Byron. Sketch said he's not excited for Charlotte. You're going to be in the car for 8 hours. You have to listen to the ear-bleeding word Roval. Now, I love the name of the race, the BOFA Roval, Bank of America Roval, but it's just called the BOFA Roval. That's a fun combination of words. So if you get annoyed at the word Roval, just think of the BOFA Roval. We are 4 wide on this restart. Let's see if we can get a clean restart here. Hocevar up the track into Bowman. Bowman is eventually going to turn Hocevar. They've been getting into each other the last few weeks. They haven't been very happy with each other, so I would watch out. Bowman should also watch out. You hate watching Rovals? Well, with how good Charlotte's been racing lately on the intermediate, they should probably retire the Roval. You know, the reason the Roval even exists is because Charlotte wasn't performing with the Gen 6 car. But now that we have a car that can actually race at Charlotte, we probably shouldn't be continuing to race the Roval. Good to see you, Ross. Hope you're having a good day and hopefully enjoying our race today. Byron was able to steal away P2. Larson up to P3. Chase Elliott slots into 4th. Hamlin has fallen down to 6th position, even though Hamlin will get around him here. So slot Hamlin into P5. Austin Cindric continues to fall through the field. I fully expect Blaney to pass him here on the next lap. As I say that, Blaney is making the pass on Cindric already. The two-tire play not yet working out for him. If he can hold on to any position above 15th, overall, that would be a win for Cindric. Berry currently running in P10. Hasn't really improved his position from the stage finish. But overall, a good recovery for Josh Berry after facing the wrong direction earlier in the race. Sketch said he's going to see if he can get Josh Wise a championship on NASCAR 15. What AI difficulty do you run at on 15? Because I know it's very different track to track. Some tracks, you know, 90 is really fast. And other tracks, you put that at 100 and they're still running slow. So I don't know. I just personally, I find NASCAR 15 to be pretty challenging. On the long run, I dominate the AI. But on the short run, it is a struggle. All right, 75, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I've been racing on 90 on most tracks, and it has been so hard for me on the short run. Like they're like 3/10 faster than me, but once the tires wear, I got it. Jump all over him. That game's tough. All right, as they run, Chase Briscoe is the last driver in the playoffs, 5 above the cut line. And as they run, with Austin Cindric with his strategy, he is the first car out, 5 points under. Chastain 7 points under, Reddick 14 points under, and our lowest playoff driver, Bubba Wallace, 20 points under the cut line. Yeah, 100's not too bad in the heat games. 100 on NASCAR 15 for me, that would be a nightmare. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great glitch there, Skitch. Hopefully it works out for you. That Josh Wise car is hilarious. All right, Austin Cindric's lost another position, so now he's 6 below the cut line. Hamlin was able to get around Chase Elliott. He's moved into P5. Overall, a great recovery for Chase Elliott, coming from, way back in the field, able to slowly work his way up into the top 10. If he can hold on to get a top 10 finish, this is the kind of race that you look back on and say, that's the moment that they proved they can go out and win a championship. Even though they're not having the race-winning pace currently, they are proving quite a bit moving through the field like they have. 27th, yeah. Dan Hamlin fan said they'll probably put at 102 to 105. Yeah. 102 is a pretty comfortable place at some tracks. Some tracks, the AI are a bit slower. And it also depends on your setup. If you're going to run a custom setup, sometimes you get a really good one, and so you have to turn it up to 105. Personally, I just find a lot of the default setups to corner really poorly. Just very tight. But it depends, track to track. I'm excited for NASCAR 25. One man said, "Go, Denny, go." Another Hamlin fan. How about that? There's dozens of you guys, at least. It seems like every other person that comes in here is like, "Oh, go Denny Hamlin. I'm so happy." Where are all these Hamlin fans coming from? I've only met one Denny Hamlin fan in real life. One. Single one. That man, his name, Denny Hamlin. Skitch said, "You're a proud fan of nobody in this field. All your drivers retired." I understand. Yeah, once Gordon retired, I never really named another favorite. I just have guys that I like, and I have guys that I don't like. Denny Hamlin fan says he's getting the game in a few months. That's good. One man said we're looking for Hamlin haters. Uh-oh. You got me. No, I like what Denny Hamlin does off the track and what he stands for. I think it's pretty brave of them, even though a little stupid, to carry out this whole lawsuit against NASCAR. But somebody has to take a stand. Denny's very outspoken about things he doesn't like. I think more drivers should speak out about what they don't like. Denny Hamlin fan says, you know, that he doesn't care that they hate Hamlin. Not gonna lie, like who you want. Yeah, I can see that. As long as you're enjoying the same race I'm enjoying, that's, you know, all that matters to me. You didn't believe how loud the room got when Stewart passed Hamlin on the final lap. Are you talking about Sonoma? When he bumped him for the win? Because that was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. That's back when we had a car that you could do a bump and run without having to commit vehicular manslaughter. You want to see Heim get number 11? As in, you want to see him move to the 11 car? Or do you want to see him win 11 times this year? Because that is a possibility. We were talking about Ty and Denny earlier. Yeah. I understand why Ty was running like he was. I don't really blame him for that incident. And I also don't blame Denny for spinning him. But should he have spun his teammate? Probably not. 11 when Hamlin retires. Heim in the 54. Tiberia Media Entertainment said Heim in the 54. That's funny. Now, what should happen is Riley Herbst should go back to ARCA. Riley Herbst should go flip burgers for McDonald's. And Corey Heim to the 35. It makes me mad Riley Herbst is even out here on the track. The only cars he's ahead of currently are ones that have damage and Cody Ware. That's Riley Herbst's day so far. All right, we have our two Penske cars, 1 and 2. They've been the class of the field all day. All day. Double A, that is my point exactly. Herbst never proved himself in Xfinity, so why did he get the opportunity to move to Cup? I know why. His family paid for his ride, but... And he has monster money. Even though, you know, the logo isn't showing because it's green screened out. But that's a monster. Yeah, I think maybe he got a win. And it took him a long time. Yeah, like Blaney's been decent at times throughout the year. Barry had a good race. But clearly Penske knows something. And this doesn't bode well for the field. Because you know what else is a flat track? A flat high-speed track. Phoenix. Phoenix, our finale. So if Logano or Blaney make it to the final round, the field better watch out. Because this is a warning shot to the rest of the field. The two Penske cars have a 2.5 second advantage on the rest of the field. Well, going back to Blaney, I guess. Logano has a 3-second advantage. Well, one man said he's been disappointed with Sheldon Creed. He was a beast in Stadium Super Trucks. He's been close. He's been close many, many times, and he probably would have already won a few races if he had stayed at RCR. But it's probably for the best that he left. Because he had a shot to make it into the Final Four, the round of 4 last year. Not last year, 2 years ago, right? Or was it last year? You know, at Martinsville, I know you know the race I'm talking about. And Austin Hill already at the moment in the playoffs, in the moving on to the final round, ends up taking out his teammate and then wrecks half the field on the last lap. What an idiot. So it's good that Creed left. Yeah. That was just an idiot move by Hill. And then who got the win? Was it Allgaier? I remember watching that race. It was wild. Yeah, Creed and JGR equipment. Yeah. Yeah, if you're in JGR equipment, you really have, you know, no one to blame. Because they're consistently 1 or 2 in terms of best equipment in Xfinity. You know, it's JRM and JGR. Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would have been. That would have been the next day, right? So 2 insane finishes. You know, the Hail Melon was probably the only thing that could have outshined the ending to that Xfinity race, and it did. All right, Blaney has closed in. Down to 3/10. Now, Blaney has to be careful here. He can't afford to burn his stuff up fighting dirty air. One man rooting for Denny still. Denny currently running P6. I expected more from Bell today, but he didn't start very well. Cindric currently holding position in 12th. So overall, he did benefit on the 2-tire call, but we'll see if he can hold on. We've been a fan since 09. Then he had one of the best rookie seasons. Very impressive year for him. What was that, 2006, maybe? JGR saving out sanity of Penske championships this year. We'll see. It's good to say, where's Kurt at? You hope he wins? Yeah, he was there. He was there. I don't know. He needs to hop in the 8 car. See if he can do any better than his brother. Yeah, I think Skitch was making use of sarcasm. I know it's hard to tell sometimes with just reading a message. Yeah, someone came in here earlier. I forget who it was, but they said Bobby Labonte was going to win today. Definitely an outside choice. You got to witness his last win. That's cool. What was that? Kentucky? No, he got one in the 45, didn't he? So what track was that? Kansas. Okay. Who's my driver? I don't really have one. Once Gordon left, it just kind of left me stranded. I do have tons of Byron stuff because he is the 24. So I still pull for the Hendrick guys. not Byron, Barry moving up into P3. If we get a caution, the wildest thing could happen. Josh Berry could win this race. I hope it happens. I want to see Josh Berry win this race. It would be beautiful. It would be redemption after finishing last 3 weeks in a row to end his playoff hopes and his championship chances, to coming back and possibly winning this race. Great story, and especially after getting spun. Vehicular manslaughter by Shane Van Gisbergen. Denny Hamlin fan says he'll yell "ride the Dente" if we get another caution. Cole Custer, hopefully he's the only SHR member remaining. I don't think Cole's gonna win anytime soon. They chased this setup out of Elliott's car. I think he might be running about where he should be. I haven't seen much more than top 5 speed for Elliott today. It's impressive enough that he worked his way up from 27th. Let's keep an eye on that gap back to Josh Berry. Now that Blaney's in the lead, he may start to stretch this lead. And it may take Berry a while to get around Logano if he can get there. Sketch to say, where's Michael Waltrip running? On the treadmill, I believe. Good to see you, Jared. Double A said Cindric with 2 tires fell. He's in 15th. This is the lowest he can run and still be considered a winner on the strategy, because he was 17th before the 2-tire call. But if you look at his times, as you probably saw this, he is running 0.3 off the pace, so he probably will continue to fall through the running order. Yeah, about all Michael does right now, he'll call the truck races and he does appearances for his beer company, Michael Waltrip Brewing. I think they actually may have a bar, maybe in Bristol. I forget where it is. That was a smart move. That was a smart move for Blaney to come in. Prevent people from short pitting and undercutting him. Daytona said, am I able to do that? I don't know. I don't know. I've had a few people ask. I might do that at some point, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. You can definitely call into our post-race show if you'd like to share your thoughts. Yeah, as a reminder, we will be, after this race ends, we're going to end the stream, and we will switch over to our post-race show. So we have our post-race coverage. Hope you guys will tune in, and this number that's on the screen currently, you can call that number and share your thoughts. I'm going to tentatively go ahead and type in Blaney wins. Let's see if I can jinx Blaney out of a win. Shut your mouth, Jerry. Shut your mouth. I agree with your statement, but not the song. Yes, Hamlin exiting pit road now. Logano is staying out. I don't Well, you know, Blaney was already in the lead. And since he did short pit, I definitely think he's going to go back to the front. I don't need a jinx Byron. He's not even a threat. Honestly, Barry should have short pit. Because he may have been able to jump Logano. Or at least pull closer. That's... To get a good gap before pitting, you have to be running faster laps. And Blaney had already pit. So he had the faster tires already. The Colts did win pretty big. 3-0. They currently have a 75% chance of making the playoffs. Brad Keselowski is going to do the unthinkable and win this race. I wish he has the Red Sox on the car. But he's certainly not going to win this race. It would be the unthinkable. Barry, I don't know. I guess Barry's hoping for a caution or something. All right, I think they're bringing him in here. We'll see. Cody Ware on pit road. The GOAT. The GOAT! Yeah, no one's catching Blaney. Barry stayed out too long. Cost himself time. He should have pit when Blaney pit or earlier. All right, Barry's on pit road. Don't like the call to stay out here. 12-time Cup Series champion, Cody Ware. That's right. He should have 13, but you know what happened that year. Yes, it is Blaney's race to lose right now. You're watching the WNBA. Indiana's winning. Interesting. Winning without Caitlin Clark, I guess. And isn't Sophie Cunningham, is she still out? I'm watching a CBS in the background. What is this dude's facial hair? Oh, what is his haircut? This guy looks like straight out of Hunger Games. One of the rich people. That's a wild look there. All right, Chase Elliott on pit road. The only thing that ruins Elliott for me is he is so fun. The glaze is crazy. He's a good driver. Yeah, that's a big part of what it is. Less people would dislike Elliott and Larson if it wasn't for their fan bases. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I understand that 100%. I don't dislike him. He runs for Hendricks, so you know he has that going for him. He runs the Chevy, so that's good. You know, working in his favor. But he is kind of a boring personality. He'll show it every once in a while, but do I like Hocevar? Yeah, he's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining. Jared said he can't wait for tomorrow night when the Lions play. Denny Hamlin fan said that's the entire reason you don't like him. But you don't have to participate in the fan base. You can be the change you want to see. Be the good Larson fan. Be the good Elliott fan. Now, if you're ever going to root for Kyle Larson, now is the time because he's struggling. So if you root for him now, it's like you're buying low. You know, if you root for him when he's winning, you're a bandwagon fan. Buy low, sell high. Chase Elliott, currently the lowest driver to the cut line, 7 points above the cut line. Chastain is the first driver out, 7 points below the cut line. Cindric has worked his way back up to 11 points under the cut line. It's because of their fathers. Junior is popular because of his father. Well, yeah, Chase gets the Bill Elliott fan base. Bill was the most popular driver for several years. He may hold the record for most times winning that. But anyway, he also got the Junior fans. And he got the Gordon fans. So there's 3 fan bases that Chase Elliott inherited when he moved into the 24 car and now the 9 car. You don't know why you don't like the Lagooner? For me, I don't like his attitude in the car, and he is also a little hypocritical. He'll race somebody dirty and close all day, but if someone bumps him, you know, he's crying about it. But other than that, I think he's great for the fan base. He's a great ambassador for the sport. And he cursed Clemson this year, which is pretty hilarious. You can't get Josh Wise a championship. Oh my goodness, your game's glitched out. Well, you can tie for a championship. Does that still count? I also think Joey makes really aggressive blocks and pushes on the plate tracks. That kind of annoys me when guys race reckless on the super speedways. I have a headache or something coming on. All right, while we're on a commercial, I'm going to take my final break of the race. I'm going to go take an Excedrin. Try to stave off this, whatever I have coming on. Who I think is the next Gordon. I don't think we're going to have a next Gordon until we get rid of this next-gen car. I missed a caution. Cody Ware around. How about that? Yeah, one man. Joey is a great driver, no doubt, but he's a prick. I may not use the same terminology, but I could agree with that. Off the track, I think he's a fine guy. I've heard really good things about him staying late, signing autographs, you know, making sure to make the experience memorable for the young people that are fans of the sport. Glenn says the usual yawn fest at the end. Well, it just got more entertaining with this caution, that's for sure. A lot of guys coming in to pit for 2 tires. Larson losing a position. Harson moving up 1. Chastain moving up 1. Staying out is Barry. Barry may have just won the race. Cody took himself out. Yeah. I just don't think Hamlin has the car. Now, maybe his car would perform differently if he was up front with the clean air, but I haven't seen race-winning speed from him. It just seems to me to be between the Penske cars. Outside of the Penske cars, that's it. On this restart, Elliott probably will get behind Barry. Maybe should have taken him 3 wide high. Blaney, if anyone's going to have the speed to take the lead on the inside, it's Ryan Blaney. So look for that. Joey's back there, that weasel. We'll see what he does. Carson's up there, far enough up to make an impact. We'll see what happens. Austin Dillon, 13th. Great run for Austin Dillon so far. Bowman's been sliding back over the last couple cautions. Not great. He's been super tight. Can't get the turn. I think that he's had perhaps he's definitely had one of the best cars today, but perhaps the best car. So if there was anyone out there that could make the inside work, it would be Blaney. But I think Barry might have just won the race for that call. He did two dumb things today. Wrecked someone and got wrecked today. Larson held up there by Tyler Reddick. That's why he lost a position. Oh, that's rough for Tyler Reddick. Where is he restarting? 19th. Briscoe back to 16th. Not great. And Bubba back in 28th. What a horrible day for Bubba Wallace. Not a great day for 2311 as a whole. Riley back there. Actually, a good run for Riley Herbst. Anything above 30th is a good day for Riley Herbst. Yeah, we'll see how they... Okay. Chase going to the inside. Why? 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 I don't understand. Why? Does he feel like he's good on the inside? I mean, maybe this is the call that wins him the race, but it's 43 laps to go. I don't think he has the fastest car in the field, or at least I don't think he has a car that can finish in the top 3. I just don't think he has winning speed. But I mean, maybe clean air could wake the car up a little bit more. But the inside lane hasn't worked for anyone today. So I don't see it working here. And there we go. Barry's already cleared Elliott. I don't know why you wouldn't take the outside there. I mean, what's the advantage of keeping him off the front row when now he's lost more positions than that? I think he would have had a better shot to hold off Blaney on the outside than he did the inside. Like I said, I didn't think Chase had a car that could run in the top 3. Well, now he's dropped out of the top 3. 41 laps to go. Willie B running P3 currently. I think Laguna will probably pass him here eventually. Barry has to run hard here. Yes, there could definitely be a future caution. It's going to be hard to pass on the inside, but Blaney is gaining ground here. He's been able to pass all day. He's got this. Now, if Barry can just hold close, Barry doesn't have to hold this position. He just has to stay close because Barry may have the better long run car. I think Blaney probably has the best car today, but Barry's been moving all day. Yes, Blaney seems like the best car for sure. Actually able to pass on the inside. And he's worked his way forward a few times now. But I mean, great recovery for Barry. What could have been? Recovered all the way from 27th. Yeah, I think Logano's going to work his way forward for sure. Woo! Logano to the inside of Chase Elliott. He would have to pull something out of thin air because Byron has had a top 10 car all day. He hasn't had a top 3 car. I just think these Penske cars were the class of the field outside of Austin Cindric. I don't know what happened with the 2 car. Maybe they were experimenting on someone or on something. But it definitely didn't work, whatever happened with the 2 car. Because Blaney's up there, Barry's up there, and Logano's up there. And they have looked like the 3 best cars all day. That's crazy. Yeah, Chase is holding on pretty well here. I don't think he's going to hold him off long term, but good for him. One man said, better luck for Hamlin at Kansas. Fortunately, Hamlin's good there. Hamlin's good just about anywhere, though. He has a 24-point cushion to the cut line, so not safe, but definitely not on the bubble right now. Skitch said he won at Charlotte. Yes, hopefully you can. That'd be good. Chase seems to be rotating better than he was. Maybe now that there's some shadows developing on the track, the sun's going down, the track may have started to cool off a bit. Probably not much, maybe a degree or two. Because these tracks hold heat so well. They'll be hot late into the night. But that shade might change the track a bit. Yeah, Bubba's back there in 25th. Not great. Great run for Austin Dillon. As soon as he gets cut from the playoffs, he's like, you know what? It's time to actually perform. Oh, Hamlin back to 13th. How about that? He's falling back a bit. This would be a great finish for William Byron if he could come home in the top 5. Somehow Elliott's been able to hold off Logano. Attempts only 65. Didn't you say it was 67 earlier? It doesn't seem like much, but last week we saw a 5-degree differential go from no tire wear to a ton of tire wear. Yeah, Blaney definitely seems like he has a huge advantage here. Now, a caution could shake things up, but that's about the only thing that could change the outcome of this race. Now, we almost saw Blaney get into the back of Austin Dillon earlier in this race. 6 inches of difference, and Blaney's nose is caved in, and he's probably running 15th at least. Hamlin wrecks Elliott or not? Oh, you mean Logano? I don't think Hamlin will, because he's not up there. I just don't think a caution will change much. Yeah. Now, maybe the tires could equalize between Blaney and Barry, but at best, Blaney might run similar lap times. Now, getting to the bumper and passing is a different story with this next-gen car, because the gap kind of is stabilized here. And during our last run, before the caution, Barry had been working his way through the field on older tires, so maybe Barry just has a car that performs better late in the run. 26 laps, though. I don't know if that's enough time for Blaney's car to fall off or for Barry's car to wake up. We'll see. It's still only it was up to 8/10. Now it's down to 6/10. We'll see what happens. What's the difference between Cody Ware and Austin Dillon? Austin did not beat up a woman. That we know of. So right now, as they run, Briscoe is the first car above the cut line. And the first car below the cut line is Ross Chastain. 7 points below the cut line. Keep an eye on that. We will keep our eye on that throughout the race. So a reminder, after this race ends, we will be transitioning to our post-race coverage. I already have Blaney locked in. But if you guys are interested, you don't have to touch anything. The stream should automatically transition over to our post-race show. So don't touch that dial. We'll recap the race, hopefully look at our points, and maybe look forward to Kansas and look at some other stories if we find anything interesting. Might talk a bit about Michael's channel getting hacked, a bit about what we've heard about NASCAR 15. See if there's any rumors or stories over on the J-Skis website. Thank you, one man. Thank you. It's better than yesterday. Yesterday, our Xfinity, our truck broadcast, not our most successful one. And I didn't show any highlights. Usually, I show the highlights when there's cautions. I completely forgot. I was just talking to chat. Having a good old time. Do I race online? On occasion. On occasion. I usually race more like, single races or career mode. Online racing, unless you know the people you're racing with, usually it just devolves into Wreckfest. Everyone just crashing each other. We'll see. We'll see, Glid. Talladega, you might lose your championship run. If there's any track that could put you at risk, that is certainly one of them. Used to run a league. I used to do iRacing. That's the closest I got to league racing. And I was just concerned about my safety rating, to be honest. And so if somebody thought they were faster, I'd let them go. And then if I ran them back down late in the run, because that usually I'd just be saving my tires, I would pass him at the very end. So I'm trying to be the guy that isn't wrecking people. I don't know. I don't know about balls. What are you talking about? Now, Barry was able to close in, but unless Blaney's car is going away, I don't know if he'll be able to make this pass. He may melt this stuff off. And Blaney's going to do everything he can to stay out front, including aero blocking, straight up blocking. It may be a bit too much to ask out of these older tires, even though it's just a right side advantage. It doesn't start immediately after. We'll do we'll recap the race, go over the cautions. We'll watch the replays, perhaps. Maybe look at our playoff picture if we have that up yet. And then if we're still waiting on the points, then we'll take some calls. But the calls are scheduled to be the last segment. You're on console. Your league paid first $500, second $250, and third $100. Woo! Yeah, iRacing. Yeah, the subscription fee and having to buy the tracks and have a PC that can run iRacing, have a wheel and pedal setup. It definitely gets a bit expensive. $15 laps to go. Now, a caution could change everything. I know we're focused on this battle for the lead. Looks like Barry's falling off a little bit. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Gap's holding at about 410. Seems like Barry might be falling off a bit. It's really just corner to corner. Yeah, he He just gained 2/10 in that one corner. The gap was growing. Lost it a bit on the exit. Yes, entry. That's... You're exactly right. Double A. Come on, Josh. Get him, Josh. Come on. Let's get one for the Wood brothers. He is... That just about sealed it. That may have not decided the race, but that is just about it. The tires are probably a bit hotter. He might be able to mount one last run at him, but let's take a look at this while they're replaying it. Just shot up the track. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. You know, Barry certainly has the better car right now. But even on older tires, he has the better car for sure. But he's not able to close in. I think that's saying too much. Why would you let a guy get to your bumper when you're trying to lock yourself into the next round? Now, the only game that he could be playing is letting Barry get close enough to get affected by the dirty air. Letard's addressing the hot rear tires that I already mentioned. Whew. Who's running the modified out there? Justin Haley? Well, this race is over. Outside of a caution, I don't see Barry catching back up. That last run he had was all he had. Exactly. If there's anything left, he has to go after it now, but now the gap is 9/10, trending towards 1 second. Great run, great recovery to Barry. Barry's the driver of the day, in my opinion, but you know, that's it. Chase trying to hold on to 5th position. Bell threatening. Come on, where's Cody Ware to spin one last time? That could make this interesting. Yeah, I think it was an alright race. We had a crazy outbreak of cautions there in stage 2, but outside of that, it was, you know, we had some decent long runs. Some passing here and there. Not a ton of passing, but it definitely seemed like if you had a really good car, you could work your way through the field. And then along with strategy and faster pit stops, you know, we saw several guys go from the tail of the field towards the front into the top 10. Yeah, Joey's still up there in 4th. Not too bad. I think he had the weaker of these 3 cars. What Logano excels at is getting to the lead and then holding it with, you know, aero blocking. So once he lost the lead, I wasn't surprised to see him fall back a bit, especially between Blaney and Barry. Blaney's just pacing it now. Yeah, Chase starting 27th, making his way up to 5th. Definitely impressive. Definitely impressive. Able to make up some of those positions on track and some of those off track. So, you know, definitely a team effort for Chase today. All right, move Briscoe into P10. Able to get around Carson Hocevar there. So he will get a point. Pretty big for Briscoe. Able to increase the gap back to Chastain. Daytona's saying Blaney won. Here we go. I'm at one lap to go.
1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. If SVG hadn't have spun Josh Berry very well could have won the race. If he had gotten the track position and had equal tires, very likely he wins the race. So good job, SVG. Good job. Let's see where he finished. 32nd. Karma. Good recovery for Josh Berry after having 3 last place finishes in a row. Good to see him recover here. Great job. Great day for Ryan Blaney. Great day for the Penske cars, except Austin Cindric. I wouldn't say a great day for JGR. All right day. The only team that can say they had a great day are the Penske Fords. I just don't know how the 2-car missed the setup this bad to finish 17th. I guess that's a good day if your worst car is 17th, but still. That's just wild. Sketch said he hates super speedways. They did a 5 wide through the turns at Talladega, spun out and hit you in the face. That sucks. Yeah, Bubba, not a great day. He probably had the worst day out of our playoff drivers. I mean, definitely worse statistically, but he just wasn't able to, you know, hold any kind of position, really. Just fell back throughout the day and then got mired back here in the mid-20s. Awful day. Brad Keselowski, a guy who had heavy damage, finished higher than Bubba Wallace. So that tells you what kind of car Bubba had today. Pretty terrible. Tyler Reddick, his teammate, back there in 21st. You know, he lost track position on a bad pit stop. All right, ladies and gents, it's been great. It's been real having you guys here for the race broadcast. We're going to end things here, and I am going to start the post-race stream. So don't touch that dial. It should automatically send you over to the post-race coverage. We do have a call-in number, so later during our post-race coverage, if anyone wants to call in and share their thoughts, that's the way you'll be doing it. So thank you guys for joining us during today's stream. We had about 12,500 of you that I have a count of currently that tuned in during today's broadcast. But that'll do it, and hopefully I see you guys in the post-race show. And I hope to see you guys next week for the Kansas race.